Welcome to the Teapot Reads. My name's Sam. I'm the Teapot. This is what I'm currently reading, and I'm so happy to see you today. Hello, and welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time, welcome to my channel. It is that time again. Time for a book haul. I have so many really wonderful books to show you. So like I have been doing for the last couple book hauls, this is not every single book that I have purchased or received in the last couple weeks. I want to say it's been, I think it's been like 2.5 months since my last one. So this is not every single book. I have a book buying problem. I've definitely gotten better. I keep track of every book I've been buying this year, and it's gone down. The amount of books I've been buying has been going down. So I'm really proud of myself for that. But these are just the ones that I am most excited to share with you, that I really just I'm still feeling all those wonderful glowing feelings with, and just wanted to show off. And maybe some of these I wanted to brag a little bit about because I got a copy because I'm so humble. This varies from fantasy to classics to YA to book box editions. So if you're interested at all in any of these books, please stick around because yeah, some of these are they're just so cool. I'm so excited. So first of all, I picked up Lucky Jim by Kingsley Amis. This is the Penguin modern classic, so it's got the teal spine. I love these editions so much. I actually saw the NYRB edition at work, and that cover is also really cool. I'll post it like here. And I was like, this is such a cool cover. I picked it up, I read the back, it sounded really interesting, but I looked to see if there was a Penguin edition and there wasn't. I love this cover more. If I do really enjoy this book, I will probably buy the NYRB edition as well. It's supposed to be comedy. Kingsley Amis is supposed to be a really good author. I started looking into him a little bit after I picked this up, and I love the modern classics so much. Let me read to you the back. Jim Dixon has accidentally fallen into a job at one of Britain's new red brick universities. A moderately successful future in the history department beckons as long as Jim can survive a magical singing weekend at the Professor Welch's A moderately successful future in the history department beckons as long as Jim can survive a magical singing weekend at Professor Welch's, deliver a lecture on Merry England, and resist Christine, the hopelessly desirable girlfriend of Welch's awful son, Bertrand. So, I'm not saying dark academia vibes, because I'm not getting dark academia vibes, but I'm getting academia vibes, and that's also always a bonus. I really love when authors have a decent sized backlist to dive into, so that if I enjoy one of their books, I have a lot more to enjoy. And Kingsley Amis did have a fair few. I don't know if it's going to list them all. It doesn't. But I remember like looking through online and being like, yeah, you've got quite a few. If I enjoy you, I have a lot. Someone who doesn't have a lot of backlist, I don't believe, is J.G. Farrell. So this is Troubles. This is the NYRB edition. I am going to be reading this very soon because one of my coworkers has been basically telling me to read this since she read it, and she was telling me to read it before she even read it because she's like, it sounds so good. It does. It sounds really good. I really want to get to it. J.G. Farrell is hilarious. Let me see if it says. Okay. So this is the first in like a connected trilogy, and she's read the first two. It's basically watching the decline and fall of the British Empire, which I love. And this one is during the first set of Troubles, I believe, so 1920s, I think, and it takes place at a hotel in Ireland. She's been reading them. She says they're funny and quirky. She's gone through the first two of the three. Funny and quirky and a little off kilter, but really good. I have to read to you a piece of that piece of hair looks like a bug. I have to read to you a piece from the author bio at the beginning. I shouldn't laugh as hard as I did. I'm gonna read you the author biography at the beginning because this man's life, I think, encapsulates just his writing essence. Like his life and his writing style are just the same from what she's told me. J.G. Farrell was born with a caul long considered a sign of good fortune. Academically and athletically gifted, Farrell grew up in England and Ireland. In 1956, during his first term at Oxford, he suffered what seemed a minor injury on the rugby pitch. Within days, however, he was diagnosed with polio, which nearly killed him and left him permanently weakened. Farrell's early novels, which include The Long and A Girl in the Head, have been overshadowed by his Empire trilogy. This is book 1, Troubles. The Booker Prize winning The Siege of Krishnapur and The Singapore Grip. Troubles was set in motion when he came upon a grand hotel destroyed by fire on Block Island, Rhode Island, in 1967. Old bed springs twisted with heat, puddles of molten glass, wash bowls that had fallen through to the foundations, a flight of stone steps leading up to thin air, twisted pipes, lots of nails lying everywhere, and a few charred beams. In early 1979, Farrell bought a farmhouse in Bantry Bay on the Irish coast. "I've been trying to write," he admitted, "but there are so many competing interests. The prime one at the moment is fishing off the rocks. Then a colony of bees has come to live about my back door, and I'm thinking of turning them into my feudal retainers." On August 11th, Farrell was hit by a wave while fishing and was washed out to sea. I shouldn't be laughing. The man loved fishing and he was swept out to sea. I also picked up My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. I do have another Ferrante. I don't recall which one. It's one of her earlier ones. It's really tiny. I've had it for a while and I was like, I gotta read that before I pick up My Brilliant Friend, but I have just been seeing such great videos and reviews of this lately, especially on TikTok, and I was like, it's time to pick up My Brilliant Friend. It's time to pick up Ferrante and finally read her. I definitely want to get to it this year. I would like to get to it by the end of the season because I would like to, within the span of like a year, read this whole quartet, but assuming I like this first one. If I don't like it, I won't continue, but I think I will, and I would really like to read them close enough to each other that I don't forget minor details. This is the first in Ferrante's most famous works, which is the Neapolitan Quartet, and it's basically, I believe, just the relationship between two women. They are childhood friends and it takes them through their lives, and it's really about female friendship, female relationship, female life, especially in Italy at this time. I believe we're watching sort of a change of power in Italy. I don't know that much about Italian history, so I probably couldn't go further than that. I know it's a TV show as well. I like have always known this. Ooh, I've always known it was a TV show, like since I started seeing the books on shelves, but I've never seen a trailer. Or could I name a single person in it? I don't know. I don't know who's in it. So maybe after I finish them, I'll watch it. I don't even know if they got through the whole series. I picked up Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. I have Station 11. I have not read it. This is the really pretty Barnes & Noble edition. I just really love this color of stained edges that they used. And it does go around the whole thing, which sometimes they don't do that when they stain the edges. But this one they did. I don't think there's anything else special about the design of the book. I think the shimmer might be exclusive to Barnes & Noble, but that's not really coming across super well in the video. I picked this up because it did sound good and because I actually really liked Maggie Stiefvater's review of it. She talked a lot about how it's very much encapsulates the experience of being a writer, especially a writer on tour, which I was like, that's really interesting. I've also just heard really great things about Emily St. John Mandel. My only hang up is I do believe it deals with pandemics, and I had such a bad experience with a pandemic novel earlier this year that I won't be getting to it anytime soon. Same with Station 11. Probably not going to read it anytime soon. I can't deal with that right now in my life. I'm not comfortable or stable enough with it, but I am really happy I got this edition because this is very pretty, and I do think when I finally read it I will enjoy it. Let me actually read to you the back of it though, because I realize I didn't really describe it. Edwin St. Andrew is 18 years old when he crosses the Atlantic by steamship, exiled from polite English society following an ill-conceited diatribe at a dinner party. He enters the forest, spellbound by the beauty of the Canadian wilderness, and suddenly hears the notes of a violin echoing in an airship terminal, an experience that shocks him to his core. 2 centuries later, a famous writer named Olive Llewellyn is on a book tour. She's traveling all over Earth, but her home is the Second Moon Colony, a place of white stone, spire towers, and artificial beauty. Within the text of Olive's best-selling pandemic novel lies a strange passage. A man plays his violin for spare change in the echoing corridor of an airship terminal as the trees of the forest rise around him. When Gasbury Roberts, a hotel detective in the black-skied night city, I'm guessing actually his name is Gasbury Robert, but we're gonna go with the initial pronunciation, is hired to investigate an anomaly in the North American wilderness. He uncovers a series of lives appended. The exiled son of an earl driven to madness, a writer trapped far from home as a pandemic ravages Earth, and a childhood friend from Night City who, like Gaspari himself, has glimpsed the chance to do something extraordinary that will disrupt the timeline of the universe. A virtuoso performance as human and tender as it is intellectually playful, Sea of Tranquility is a novel of time travel and metaphysics that precisely captures the reality of our current moment. I really do enjoy being a member of Goldsboro Premier and Goldsboro SFF, but they don't always hit it out of the park. This book, they did. This is the Embroidered Book. This is by Kate Hartland. It is gigantic. It is so big. It's historical fantasy, I believe, but look at these edges. I cannot get enough of this book. I absolutely cannot. I also really like the cover. The design is just really pretty. It's historical fantasy. I want to say it's about Queen Elizabeth. I think I'm totally wrong. I am. Why did I think it was about Queen Elizabeth? I think I'm getting books confused, but I am still excited for this one. It's about Charlotte and Marie Antoinette, her sister. So Charlotte is Marie Antoinette's sister. Her name is Antoinette. And yeah, I think it's like courtly. I think there's like spells, magic. The Embroidered Book, I think, is a grimoire in the text. It sounds delicious. It sounds really good. I don't think I'll get to it soon. I read the Nancy Mitford Madame de Pompadour book, which I loved, but I'm really happy I did because Marie Antoinette was the basically most famous mistress post Madame de Pompadour, and definitely the most famous French mistress ever, and she was also queen. It's this whole thing. Okay, like the king had a queen and a mistress, and Marie Antoinette was both. It's a thing. But I'm glad I read that because I think it really will help me contextualize and understand a lot about the rules in this if they're done historically accurate. But again, don't think it'll be soon. May not even be this year. If it's this year, I think it'll be a winter book. You know, I love Illumicrate special editions. I love them. They are doing them like no other. So of course I had to get We Hunt the Flame and We Free the Stars by Hafsa Faisal. These are so pretty. These are so pretty. These are stunning. Okay, let's just look at them. I haven't read these yet. I want to. Okay, I want to. We've got gorgeous, gorgeous redesigned covers. Look at that. The edges. These are actually not my favorite edges. They're very cool. They're just not my favorite. But then underneath, I love the naked hardbacks of these. I love that. I love that. That's so pretty. That's so pretty. I would have even been content if this is what it looked like and there was no dust jacket, like, at all. They are signed. I think they're both signed. This one is definitely signed. So then this one. Look at that. The artist is Mono Lime Art. Is it Mono Lime Art or Mono Line Art? I'll tag them down below. Again, not my favorite edges, but still really cool. And I love that it wraps around from like the design of the cover. And yes, this one was signed as well. I checked. Look at that. That's so pretty. Ah, that's so pretty. I love that. These are just cool editions. Again, Illumicrate always does fantastic, stunning editions. Almost always get like a 10 out of 10 from me. So these are no exception. Another book box edition I love. So Fairy Loot started doing adult book-only subscriptions, and this is their second one, so this would have been April. This is City of Dusk by Tara Sim. I actually do have an arc of this. I really wanted to read this before it came out, but I am such a slow reader. I didn't. It's different than the original cover. I love the white design. They went with it. At first, I wasn't sure how I felt. I think it's stunning. I love how it looks on my shelf. I love the color black on the edges. They're just always stunning. This is the Under the Dusk jacket. And then the end pages look like that. I'm really, really enjoying Fairy Loot's adult book-only subscription so far. So their June and July picks, I don't know how I feel. Like, I'm not like crazy for them. They're not like official, but the speculation, I'm not like crazy for them. But I am really looking forward to see how they look, because so far I've really enjoyed all the additions they did. This one also, can you see, has a ribbon bookmark, which I always love. Let me read you the description. The four realms, life, death, light, and darkness, all converge on the city of Dusk, ruled by the four noble houses of the Nexus. But the gods have withdrawn their favor from the once vibrant and thriving city, and without it all the realms are dying. Unwilling to stand by and watch the destruction of the four heirs, Risha, a necromancer struggling to keep the peace, Angelica, an elementalist with her eyes set on the throne, Tasia, a shadow-wielding rogue with rebellion in her heart, and Nick, a soldier who struggles to see the light, will sacrifice everything to save the city. But their defiance will cost them dearly. So, sounds good. Sounds fun. Sounds like a really, like, comfy fantasy. Comfy not because it's, like, cozy, but because it sounds familiar enough that I can just like steep myself in it. So then we have 4 copies of the same book. I have a problem, I know, but Holly Black has a new book, and it's an adult book, and I really want to like it. I did not like Cruel Prince. I actually hated Cruel Prince, but I really want to like this. And this book, I'm sure you already know what it is. It's Book of Night. Here are my 4 editions. Here they are. So I can't be chill. Everyone, I will say, everyone was kind of unoriginal with the spines or with the edges. I get it. You want black. What are the additions? I'm not even going to tell you what the book is about. You've probably heard about it. If not, it's Holly Black. She's famous enough, right? This is the Owl Crate edition. I thought it was going to be a naked hardcover, so I was a little sad when it was like a dust jacket instead, because this is just, it's cute. I love this like design, but I really would have loved it on a naked hardcover. This is what the underneath looks like. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. Not crazy about this edition. This is just the Barnes & Noble edition. It's got like a slightly blue tint to it. It's the typical edition. This is the underneath. It's fine. This is probably going to be the copy I read because it's the least important to me to keep it intact. This is the Fairy Loot one, the Fairy Loot Adult Edition, and this is my favorite. I love the gold. I love just these highlights. I think it's pretty. I really adore it. It grew on me because at first I was like, oh, that's overwhelming, but I do really like it. This is the end paper art. I think it's the same front and back. It's not the same. The back, oh, that's this. I love these end papers. And then this is the back of the case, and this is the front. Not my favorite case. I don't think I have a favorite case, but it's cool, I guess. They're definitely my favorite dust jacket, though. Finally, a Lumicrate. I'm not gonna lie, when I saw the white edition in a Lumicrate, I was like, oh, I bet Fairy Loot's pissed, because like up until this point, they had done white variants of all their monthly adult fantasy books. I'm sure they're not angry, but I was like, oh my god, I thought Fairy Loot was gonna do the white one. I like the white variant. It's still pretty. I think it's a more striking design than the black one is, but I totally get why the publisher went with black. I lied. This is my favorite case, even if it's not my favorite jacket. So this is the end pages. I didn't show you the first two because they weren't special end pages. And this is the case. I actually really like this case. Would have been totally fine if, again, this was the naked hardback. So that's Book of Night. We're done with that one now. Will I read it soon? I hope so. Just because I have so many editions, I would like to read it soon and know whether I like it. But I don't think I will. I actually didn't pull too many multiple edition books to show in this haul because I didn't have that many. Like I said, I'm doing better with book buying. But we have Portrait of a Thief. This is the regular American edition, and this is the Illumicrate edition. At first, I wasn't sure how I felt. I actually think this is really cute, and I keep it faced out on my shelf. Really adorable. I love yellow. Love the yellow end pages. Or I'm sorry, the yellow edges. I love them. And there's actually some other subtle differences, like the glasses are different. And you can't see because it's not coming up in the camera, but there are tigers on the background of this one and symbols on the back of this one. I love that. That's so cute. It's so cute. And then that's what the case looks like. There's also art. It's being tapped as Ocean's 11 meets The Farewell. It's a heist novel, but they're stealing art back. I guess I don't have to read the description. I get very dark academia vibes from it because it's got kind of a secret society vibage to it. I don't know if that's accurate yet. I don't think I'll read it this year. I really want to, but there's a lot of books I really want to read, and I don't think it's happening this year. Then we have my most anticipated book of the year, and you actually saw it already. It's Babel by R.F. Kuang. I got an ARC through work. I am so happy. And here's how it happened. So I was in the music department doing the music changeover, which I hate doing. I fucking hate doing the music changeover. I was so tired of it. And then our receiver comes through, and he didn't notice me at first, but then he glanced over and I was like, oh, hey, you want to look at the new ARCs? And I was like, yes. And I saw it, and I was like, and he's like, oh, I almost missed you. I was like, oh my God, I'm glad you didn't. Yes, I've started reading it. I just hit 100 pages. It's really good so far. I'm not going to say 5 stars because I don't know if it is, but it is really, really good. I am doing a vlog for it, and I will definitely do a review and probably a spoiler review, but don't hold me to that. The full title of this beautiful, beautiful, exciting book is Babel, or The Necessity of Violence and Arcane History of the Oxford Translators' Revolution. Okay, let me read you the back. Oh, also this comes out August 22nd, and I think there's quite a few special editions that like book boxes are doing, and I'm so, so excited. I have to have every edition. Okay. From award-winning author R.F. Kuang comes Babel, a thematic response to The Secret History and a tonal retort to Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. Side note, that was all I needed to know when this book became my most anticipated book of the year, because I love both of those books. Yes. Anyway. That grapples with student revolutions, colonial resistance, and the use of language and translation as the dominating tool of the British Empire. Another side note. I also love discussion about the power of language and, what is it called? It's a Robert Macfarlane book. Landmarks. Landmarks talks about specificity and language and the use of language and the loss of words. He's not really talking about different languages, just like language as a concept. Also really good. I strongly recommend that book. So anyway, already it's a recipe for just something I'm going to adore. Traditore. Oh, I'm sorry. It's Traduttore. Okay, hold on. Traduttore. Traditore. Traditori. Fuck it. An act of translation is always an act of betrayal. 1828. Robin Swift, orphaned by cholera in Canton, is brought to London by the mysterious Professor Lovell. There he trains for years in Latin, ancient Greek, and Chinese, all in preparation for the day he'll enroll in Oxford University's prestigious Royal Institute of Translation, also known as Babel. Babel is the world's center for translation and, more importantly, magic. Silverworking, the art of manifesting the meaning lost in translation using Silverworking, the art of manifesting the meaning lost in translation using enchanted silver bars, has made the British unparalleled in power, as the knowledge of silverworking serves the Empire's quest for colonization. For Robin, Oxford is a utopia dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge. But knowledge obeys power, and as a Chinese boy raised in Britain, Robin realizes serving Babel means betraying his motherland. As his studies progress, Robin finds himself caught between Babel and the shadowy Hermes Society, an organization dedicated to stopping imperial expansion. When Britain pursues an unjust war with China over silver and opium, Robin must decide. Can powerful institutions be changed from within, or does revolution always require violence? It's so good, guys. Here's another arc I have, and I actually have the finished copy of it because I could not fucking get myself together and have to read it ahead of time. This is an arc of Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro. I always forget the author's name. I got this through work as well. I really want to read it. I'll probably read the arc. And it actually came with a little letter, which I haven't opened because I was going to open it when I read the book. So that's still going to happen. I would really like to do a reading vlog of this one So hopefully I'll do it soon. This is also, oh my god, it's a chunky book. And I do have the finished copy. This is another one that really feels like it is positioning itself to be a sort of follower to Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. First of all, the imagery, the color scheme, just everything about this cover design screams that to me. Especially the spine. I really love Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. It has been so many years since I read it, but it is still such a heady book and one I will always treasure. A stunning new work of historical fantasy, J.M. Mira's Ordinary Monsters introduces readers to the dark, labyrinthine world of the Talents. England, 1882. In Victorian London, 2 children with mysterious powers are hunted by a figure of darkness, a man made of smoke. 16-year-old Charlie Ovid, despite a brutal childhood in Mississippi, doesn't have a scar on him. His body heals itself, whether he wants it to or not. Marlowe, a foundling from a railway freight car, shines with a strange bluish light. He can melt or mend flesh. When a jaded female detective is recruited to escort them to safety, all 3 begin a journey into the nature of difference and belonging and the shadowy edge of the monstrous. What follows is a story of wonder and betrayal from the gaslit streets of London and the wooden theaters of Meiji era Tokyo to an eerie estate outside Edinburgh where other children with gifts, the Talents, have been gathered. There the world of the dead and the world of the living threaten to collide. And as secrets within the Institute unfurl, Marlowe, Charlie, and the rest of the Talents will discover the truth about their abilities and the nature of what is stalking them, that the worst monsters sometimes come bearing the sweetest gifts. Riveting in its scope and exquisitely written, Ordinary Monsters presents a catastrophic vision of the Victorian world and of the gifted broken children who might save it. I hope I like it. I will probably, if I read it soon. Oh, When Women Were Dragons. This fucking sounds amazing. This is by Kelly Barnhill. I haven't seen anyone talking about this. Why aren't we talking about this? This sounds amazing. This is about the mass dragoning when women turned into dragons. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. Also, look at this cover. It's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. Okay. I hope I like these. I don't know if I'm going to, but they're just really pretty. And I was like, do I need them? And then I was like, if I don't get them, I'm going to be so sad that I didn't buy them. These are Twin Crowns by Catherine Doyle and Catherine Weber. And I have 2 copies. These are Waterstones editions. This is the Wren edition and this is the Rose edition. I love it. It's so cool. Also, I just adore these covers. They're very, very pretty. These are, it's the first in a duet. I think there's going to be a sequel. It's about 2 sisters, princesses. They're separated at birth. One is raised by witches to take down the royal family. The other one is raised as a princess. I love it. It gives me very much, oh my god, it gives me very much Barbie Princess and the Pauper vibes, but like fantasy. Then we have a new Maggie Stiefvater. We have Bravely. This, yes, it is a sequel to the movie Brave. I really want to read this one. I'm kind of savoring it. I'm leaving it on my shelf because knowing that I have a Maggie book that I haven't read yet is really a joy and a treat and a treasure. So yeah, this is a sequel to Brave. I don't know much else. I don't want to know much else. I think it's like a race against time, like she has a year to do something for the gods, but I'm not 100% certain, so don't take my word for it. I just realized those 2 Charlie Bowater covers in a row. I do love a good Charlie cover. Oh, okay. Then we have my favorite book of the year that I've read so far. As much as I'm like highly anticipating Babel, this will probably stay my favorite. This is In Other Lands by Sarah Rees Brennan. I had kind of had my eye on this one for a while, but then like wasn't really serious about it. And then I ordered it into work and said, I'm just gonna buy it. And I did. And I bought it and immediately started reading it. And it is so fucking good. It is so fucking good. 5 stars. 5 stars. Oh, 5 giant stars. Read this book. Read this book. It's about Elliot and Luke and Serene, but it's really about Elliot, who when he's 13, basically finds out he can see this magical world, and so is invited to go to school there, which by school, it's somewhat school, but actually gave me like Camp Half-Blood vibes. He's invited to go there, so he does, and you're following him through his years at school. I feel like I'm not, like, there's no way to explain the magic of this book, but you're really following Elliot as he kind of learns to be a person deserving of love, not just romantic, but like all sorts of love, and a person deserving to also give love, all sorts of different love, and just finding his worth and finding himself as a person and coming to terms with the fact that he's not the main character. Like, he's the main character of this book, but he's not the main character of the universe. And he learns that, you know, he actually has an effect on people. It's really, really good. It's precious. It's the best book I've read this year. It's a really good alternative and follow-up to Simon Snow. If you like those books, or if you hate those books, I think you'll find this is in a strong conversation with those books. I've only read 2 5-star novels this year. In Other Lands was one of them, and A Lady for a Duke was the other. This is by Alexis Hall. This is fucking amazing. Okay, the angst. The angst. This is some of my favorite tropes in historical romance and in romance and in anything. It has some of my favorite tropes. It has, I thought you were dead, and so I was miserable and in mourning, but you're actually alive. It has that trope. And it also has best friends, childhood best friends to lovers. It has both. It has both. It has both. And it's done so well. Let me read you the back. I love this fucking book, okay? I don't read a whole bunch of historical romance. I like historical romance. I just don't read a whole bunch because there's so many books out there I want to read. But even if you don't read historical romance, if you like romance at all, I fucking recommend it, okay? I recommend it. When Viola Carroll was presumed dead at Waterloo, she took the opportunity to live, at last, as herself. But freedom does not come without a price, and Viola paid for hers with the loss of her wealth, her title, and her closest companion, Justin de Vere, the Duke of Gracewood. Only when their families connect, years after the war, does Viola learn how deep their loss truly was. Shattered without her, Gracewood has retreated so far into grief that Viola barely recognizes her old friend and the lonely, brooding man he has become. As Viola strives to bring Gracewood back to himself, fresh desires give new names to old feelings. Feelings that would have been impossible once, and may be impossible still, but which Viola cannot deny, even if they cost her everything all over again. I loved it so much. I loved it so much. So, of course, as soon as finishing that, I was like, I have to pick up Something Fabulous. This is also by Alexis Hall. This is another historical romance that he wrote. I don't know what it's about. I don't care. He's a really good writer. And finally, I actually have 2 nonfiction books. We're going to start with Not Far from Brideshead by Daisy Dunn. This is about the period between the wars and Oxford. Between the wars. Yeah. Did I say that? Did that make sense? About Oxford during, I think that makes more sense, about Oxford during the period between the wars. Of course, I loved Brideshead Revisited. I feel like I've talked about it quite a bit on this channel. I absolutely loved it. So when I saw this, immediately I was caught and I wanted to read it. It really is not just about Evelyn Waugh or Brideshead Revisited, but it's about like that time period and about Oxford, and I just am really taken by it. I don't 100% know when I'm going to read it, but I would like to get to it either this year or next year. It might be a decent follow-up when I finish Babel, considering Babel takes place in Oxford. And finally, because the brain rot is real, we have Born to be Hanged by Keith Thompson. It's a pirate book, okay? Shut up. Shut up. I know. I didn't want to read about certain actual pirates because I don't want certain illusions to be broken, but I wanted to read about pirates, and this one just kind of came across my radar and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna buy it. It says, a riveting account of the roguish acts of the first pirates to raid the Pacific, a crusade that ended in sensational trial back in England. It's in 1680, and so it is during the golden age of piracy. And it's about a group that they just kind of have these like ridiculous adventures on accident, I think. Inspired by the intrepid forays of pirate turned Jamaican governor Captain Henry Morgan. Yes, that Captain Morgan. The company crosses Panama on foot, slashing its way through the Darien Isthmus, one of the thickest jungles on the planet, and liberating a native princess along the way. After reaching the South Sea, the buccaneers, primarily Englishmen, plunder the Spanish Main in a series of historic assaults, often prevailing against the staggering odds and superior firepower. A collective shudder racks the western coastline of South America as the English pirates, waging a kind of proxy war against the Spaniards, gleefully undertake a brief reign over Pacific waters, marauding up and down the continent. Sounds interesting. Sounds good. Pirates. Pirates. That's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this book haul. If you're new here and you like this content and you want to see more like it, definitely consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. And if you are a returning subscriber and have taken the time to not only subscribe but watch this far, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It means the world to me. Thank you, thank you. If you are somewhere cold, I hope you're staying warm. If you're somewhere warm, I hope you're staying comfortable. And it is fucking hot here, I must say. But most of all, I hope you're reading a great book. I will see you guys next time. Bye.